Hi, my name is Andrew, and I'm a rising senior at Cupertino High School. So for my extensive project, I've been working on a virtual reality application for Android phones. So the game that I made, what it is basically, it's a virtual reality game. So what that is when the player, in the game, there's a 3D environment that the player plays in, and they should be able to interact with the game in such a way that they are able to see the environment and feel like they are in that environment instead of the physical world around them. So before I go into a demonstration, I'd like to talk a little bit about the process behind choosing the project and why I chose to make a VR game. So to put it simply, virtual reality is a concept that really aligns closely to my own interests and hobbies. So playing video games, creating digital art, and also programming. Those are all things that I really love to do, and virtual reality is an application for those aspects that really ties them together. One application that really inspires me is Google's Tilt Brush, which is basically a painting program that allows you to paint in 3D, and this is something that breaks the traditional mediums for drawing and art and presents it in a way that is pretty revolutionary and reimagines the workflow of this traditional method that people have been using for all of time. So now that I've talked a little bit about how I got into picking this project, I'll be demonstrating the game with a video and also passing around the game for people to test out. So as you can see in the video, there's a player moving around on a platform, and the first thing you will notice is that there are two perspectives for the camera, one for the left and one for the right eye. And when the player turns left and right, in the game view also So now I'll be passing this around. So it's the game that I just demonstrated. And so basically you can turn your head around, and then the game view also changes with your head motion, so it basically simulates head tracking. So now that you have an idea of the game that I made, I'll be talking a little bit about the work process and how I actually created the game itself. So to start off, I needed to make a game. And to do this, I downloaded Unity 3D, a platform for creating 2D and 3D games. On Unity 3D, I had to learn how to implement a feature to make it able to build to Android phones, and then how to make it support virtual reality applications. Then I had to create the map itself for the player to play on, and then create the player object and add scripts in C# for controlling the player movement as well as moving platforms. Finally, I had to add and import assets that allowed for camera rotation using your phone's gyroscope so that the game view would change when your head turns. Then I uploaded the application to my phone using Android Studio, and finally I could see my game on my phone screen. So at the stage my project is at now, I can reflect back upon the challenges I faced, and definitely I can say that the challenge that really was most difficult for me to solve was definitely that of implementing the virtual reality aspects into my game after creating the base game. So this is basically using the gyroscope to turn the camera and also splitting the camera to the left and right eye views, because I found out that actually the assets I use are being updated so frequently that when I look for tutorials and guides on using the assets I wanted to implement, were actually outdated even if they were just written like 3 weeks ago, because there were being new versions and new features were being added that replaced old ones. So it was very difficult for me to follow, but I was finally able to overcome that by looking at some demos that people made. So going off of the challenges that I faced and reflecting upon my time at BlueStamp as a whole, I can definitely say that I learned a lot about keeping track of my goals and setting new goals even if my old ones fail, because it doesn't matter if your optimistic goals are overshooting, because if you can set new goals, you can pace yourself in a way that makes it satisfying and still learn a lot without feeling a sense of underachievement. So that wraps it up for me. So are there any questions? Eric?
What's next?
So originally when I started making this project, I was inspired by Google Tilt-Bush, the painting program that I mentioned. So originally I wanted to create something using a controller, and then be able to like basically draw in a 3D space and make like sculptures or whatever. And but at my time at BlueStamp, I didn't have time to implement the use of a controller. So definitely I would look into that further.